are back on the Arms Warrior, guys. I did end up telling you, hey, we're gonna end up getting some more stuff taken care of on this guy, because in the live stream we got cut off. They cut us off. They killed the world servers just so they could put in a new alpha build with no warning. It didn't even say server restart. It just died. So with that being said, we're gonna do a real brief over the talents. They didn't really get changed. I don't believe they got any changes, honestly, in the latest alpha build. But we'll go over them real fast. Level 15 is Dauntless. Your abilities cost 20% less rage. Overpower is back. Melee attacks have a chance to activate Overpower again. But what it is, for those of you that do not know, overpowers the enemy, causing physical damage. We're going to leave the number out because it's still in tuning. Cannot be blocked, dodged, or parried, and has a 60% increased chance to critically strike. Awesome little piece. I enjoy the gameplay of having that extra button. Some people may not. And then you've got Sweeping Strikes in the same line. This is going to be more of your AoE ability. It has changed quite a bit. Sweeping Strikes, passive, Mortal Strike and Execute, hit a second nearby target. This could be amazing for a two-person cleave fight. So something to keep in mind. Level 30, Shockwave. I did end up taking this, and the reason why I took it was for the utility, to make sure we could get through dungeons. Not a lot of people are going utility builds right now, but I took it. Still the same thing. It does a little bit of damage, and it stuns people out. The one thing that has changed is cooldowns reduced by 20 seconds if it strikes at least 3 targets. This is awesome. What you're looking at is a 40-second cooldown. It cuts a cooldown in half if you have a lot of mobs, so you can basically, you're gonna be the savior to your tank if he's getting rocked. Just keep this thing on cooldown on 3 or more mobs, and it's gonna end up helping a lot on the stress on the healer. It's gonna help a lot of stress on the tank. Stormbolt, doing the same thing. You throw your weapon, and it causes physical damage and stuns the target, but it no longer shows the increased damage if they are not stunnable. So that is just something that we're going to have to work with and find out what's going on with it. But I don't see it doing well, but it does do about double the damage of Shockwave. So it may work itself out. Not 100% sure on this yet. And then Double Time, your extra mobility. They've probably got fights in line, guys, and the reason why they're doing these little stagger deals is they've probably got fights in line for each and every one of these different talent builds, or they're just crazy. Hard telling. But Double Time's in there, does the same thing, increases the maximum number of charges of charge by 1, and reduces its cooldown by 3 seconds, and no longer says that you can only gain the, I believe last time it said you can only gain the benefit every 12 seconds for the rage. That might be extremely awesome on gameplay if you don't mind running out and charging back in, because I did notice, and I'll go over this a little more in the actual gameplay footage, but the damage that you end up doing is amazing. But you are rage starved right now. It is absolutely stupid how rage starved you can end up getting. 45 is Fervor of Battle. Cleave and Whirlwind generate 2 rage for each target they can hit. That's kind of nice for mass AoE fights. Rend, 15 rage, instant. Wounds the target, causing 37,040 bleed damage over 15 seconds. I decided to go with it for the extra button, and well, the Rend gameplay is alright, but you don't have Thunderclap to end up spreading it anymore. I don't know if that's a thing on live anymore, because it's been a while since I've played a live Arms Warrior. But that used to be a thing. Throw Rend and then send that bleed everywhere using Thunderclap. Avatar, it's been changed a bit. Instant, 1.5 minute cooldown, transforming into a Colossus for 20 seconds, causing you to deal 20% increased damage and remove all roots and snares. I don't know if this has got a different effect to it, but we can go ahead and check her out real quick. And there you have it. Not much different. Not a very big growth, and you do look like you're stoned, so you're a fighting monument. Level 60, Second Wind. I see this getting a nerf because of how much it actually does heal if you're paying attention. Its passive restores 6% health every 1 second when you have not taken damage for 5 seconds. Basically, if you leave combat, you can heal yourself real easy. And you don't even have to leave combat. You just don't have to get hit for 5 seconds. If there's no AoE going on and it's just beating on a tank, this is a lot of extra healing. This helps out a lot. Out of combat, going in real world, I would jump on my mount and not even a few seconds into it because of the real world regen, and this thing, it would top you back up to full from nothing. It was great, kept you going, great for questing. We'll see how it does in an actual raid environment where there's more damage going out. Bounding Stride passive reduces the cooldown on Heroic Leap by 15 seconds, and Heroic Leap now also increases your run speed by 70%. Mobility, always good to have mobility. Die by the Sword, it's now Talon also instead of baked in. Instant 2-minute cooldown, requires melee weapon, increases your parry chance by 100%, reduces all damage you take by 30% for 8 seconds. In for the kill, Mortal Strike generates 40 rage when used against targets that are below 20% health. Mortal Combo, Mortal Kombat, Mortal Combo. It's passive. Mortal Strike now has a maximum of 2 charges. Excellent, excellent item, especially with the way Colossus Smash works. If you're able to get that rage up to where you can use 2 in a row, Colossus Smash, boom, boom, and then it's good game. It's a lot of damage, guys. Colossus Smash is amazing right now, but we'll go over that a little bit more here in a second. But I did take Bladestorm, and the reason why I took Bladestorm, a very nice little piece, especially in the dungeons where you're running. Almost every pack's taking at least a minute now, if not longer. Bladestorm is on a 1-minute cooldown. It does the same thing. You spin around in a damn circle and doing a ton of damage. But your artifact ability is on a 1-minute cooldown. Stop the ground, causing a ring of corrupted spikes to erupt upwards, dealing 26,503 shadow damage and applying the Colossus Smash effect to all enemies within 8 yards. Alright, 1-minute cooldown, 8 yards, Colossus Smash on everything, followed up by Bladestorm, 1-minute cooldown, 8 yards, mass damage everywhere. Plays together so nicely. I couldn't help but do this. I don't know if this is going to change when it comes live. If it doesn't, it's empowered Rexstorm using these 2 abilities side by side. Nothing trash-wise is it. The only thing you gotta worry about is if the tank's got aggro. If the tank does not have aggro, you will, and you're gonna look like a pile of mashed potatoes on the ground. Focused Rage, level 90. Focus your rage in the next Mortal Strike, causing it to deal 7,407 additional damage, stacking up to 3 times, unaffected by the global cooldown. If you have the extra Rage of Burn and you want to pre-prep a Mortal Strike before you end up hitting Colossus Smash, this is going to do huge damage, but the problem is getting that extra Rage. Alright, 15 extra Rage, it costs 20 Rage to cast Mortal Strike. So you're looking at what, 30, 45, 65 Rage right off the bat to get this done, and then you also have to think about Colossus Smash. Alright, it's got to be off cooldown, ready to go. You don't need any Rage for it. But this is going to take some prep work. Could be some really good damage. Not sure though. We'll see how it goes. I did go with Trauma though. Slam now causes the target to bleed for an additional 20% of the damage over 10 seconds. Multiple uses accumulate increased damage. The reason why I took this is because, again, Rage is low. But also, if you use Slam on a single target, Slam, Whirlwind, and Execute all have a chance to basically reset the cooldown of Colossus Smash and Mortal Strike. So something to really keep your eyes on there too. Damage is pretty on par. You're looking at 18,749. Mortal Strike's doing twice that, almost twice that, not quite. But with an extra 20% bleed damage, it's going to close that gap. And if you're fishing for procs anyways, it's just going to keep adding an extra bleed onto him. So I decided to go that route just for that reason. Titanic Might, passive, increases the duration of Colossus Smash by 200%, but reduces its effectiveness by 50%. This damage window, again, if you're going to use Colossus Smash, it's going to suck all your rage out. We don't have very much rage anyways, so the longer window doesn't really matter right now. Later on when we get more rage, this may be nice. But Colossus Smash only lasts for 8 seconds, alright? But 82% increased damage during that 8 seconds. 1 second global cooldowns on most of your abilities. You can get a lot of shit done in that time, but it's a matter of having the rage. Taking that to 16 seconds for 41%. If you're building more rage, I could see to where it's doing more damage, or if you're in an execute phase and or bloodlust phase, that might end up being good. But currently, I don't see to where Titanic Might's going to do any good. Level 100, we have Anger Management. It's back. It's a little bit on the revised side. Passive, every 10 rage you spend reduces the remaining cooldown on Battlecry by 1 second. Battlecry is your new cooldown. It is a 1 minute cooldown. Huh, funny how these all seem to line up. Let's loose a Battlecry, granting 100% increased critical strike chance for 5 seconds. Doesn't seem like much, but again, if you're going bam, hitting Battlecry and then increasing your crit by 100%, every single one of these hits off Bladestorm is going to be empowered by 82% at my current mastery. Alright, 82% increased damage on top of being able to crit with every hit of Bladestorm on a 5+ mob pack. You just broke the meters, you broke the game. If someone's using a recount, which it's not live now, but I'm saying in a live process, if someone's using recount, you probably just broke their computer because of all of that data collection. Opportunity strikes. Alright, passive. Your melee abilities have up to a 60% chance, based on the target's missing health, to trigger an extra attack that deals 16,660 damage. I took this just because it was better than the other two. An extra hit is always nice. You don't really notice it, but the extra damage being there is good. And then you've got Ravager. If you need extra AoE, you can throw this down. Again, this is on another 1 minute cooldown. Might stack nice if you're looking at doing even more AoE damage with these abilities. But I decided to go against it because it's got the targeting reticle crap, and I don't care for that too much. Not really my setup. So there's that. There's the regular talents. Here's the PvP talents. These are all the same. I'm going to just read through these again real quick. I did do this on my live stream already, but I want to make sure it's getting to the video. Hardiness, passive, while above 80% health, you take 20% less damage. Death Row, you can now execute targets at or below 25% health. Rage Machine, non-periodic attacks against you generate 5 rage. Intercept, it is now under the arms tree. I don't know if it's under any of the other warrior trees, but it replaces charge, it generates 20 rage, and it still does the same thing to where it makes will intercept all melee and range attacks against them within 10 seconds whenever you charge one of your teammates. And if you charge an enemy now, it just roots him in place. So it does help a bit. Wrecking Crew, passive. Mortal Strike's effect now also is applied to all nearby enemies within 8 yards. Okay, so you're doing a mass healing debuff. I mean, it's an MS all the way through and through. But now it's an AoE MS, so nobody wants to be stacked around you, basically. Reinforced Armor, passive. Health increased by 10%. Yeah. Blood Hunt, passive. When within 10 yards of an enemy's execute range, your movement speed is increased by 15% and all snares are suppressed by 5 seconds. Yeah, so those healers aren't gonna like you because you're gonna be able to chase them down like nobody's business. It's gonna be awesome. Spell Reflect, we've seen this before, same difference. Raise your shield, reflecting all spells cast on you, lasts 3 seconds. Hasn't changed. Shadow of the Colossus, charge resets the cooldown of your Colossus Smash. Hey, if they get too far, you use your gap closer and you can get back in and beat them even harder. They've got a lot of gap closer stuff for the PvP side, guys, and if they didn't have enough already on live, they have even more now. Echo Slam, Colossus Smash deals an additional 10% of the target's total health in damage 2.5 seconds later. Damage done ignores all armor. Wow. 10% of the target's total health. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. Relentless, nope, ain't going over that one. They're all PvP trinket abilities in that top row there, guys. And they're the same on every single spec. If you've seen one, you've seen them all. Sparring passive. Physical melee attacks have a 20% chance to be blunted, dealing 50% reduced damage. Alright. Death Sentence. Execute now has a 15-yard range, causing you to charge to targets when used. Again, another reason to have a healer bitch completely, because here you are executing from 15 yards away, and then you're now on their ass after they just got away. Again, more gap closers. This is going to be awesome to see in live. Not unless you're against them and you're a healer in arenas like I usually end up doing. Ready for battle. Passive. Rage gained from charge increased by 15. That's going to be cool. Pain Train. Passive, your battle cry now also affects all nearby allies within 10 yards. Battle cry is your cooldown. So, 100% increased critical for 5 seconds for all your melee, or I'm sorry, yeah, basically all your melee, unless you've got someone else in there, but all your teammates within 10 yards. So, Sharpened Blade, instant. When activated, your next Mortal Strike will deal 50% increased damage and reduce healing taken by 70% for 4 seconds. So instead of it being 33,000, it'll be more around the 45, 46, 47,000 mark. Just general estimate. And the effectiveness of healing is not really mentioned on here, but this will end up making it to where it does 70% reduction. That's going to be a ton. That's an absolute ton, guys. So, alright, so there's those talents. Quick ability look over. What do we have new? Battle Cry. Went over that one. That's our cooldown. Berserker Rage does the same damn thing except it doesn't generate rage. Charge, same thing. Gap Closer. Slide in there. Take him out. Cleave. Strike an enemy in front of you. Or strike all enemies in front of you with a sweeping attack doing mediocre damage. For each target up to 5, your next whirlwind deals 20% more damage. If you hit 5 targets, your next whirlwind will do 100% damage. 4, 80%. Get it? Pretty simple. If you've got a large set of groups that you're trying to cleave down, definitely use cleave before whirlwind instead of just spamming whirlwind. A little bit of a gameplay changer there, but not much. Colossus Smash. Smashes the enemy's armor, dealing physical damage and increasing damage you deal to them by whatever your mastery is. Your mastery now reflects on this, and I'll go over mastery here right after these. Commanding Shout, same difference. Let loose Commanding Shout, granting all party or raid members within 30 yards 15% increased health for 10 seconds. Defensive Stance, big change on this one. You no longer have a stance bar, but they still gave it to you so you can stance. Alright, so there's that. We are now in defensive stance, and we are doing 25% reduced damage. And but we take 25% reduced damage. So, it's kind of a trade. And you just swap back and forth by clicking that little button right there. I'm sure you can do a cancel aura for it if needed. Execute, same difference. Nothing has changed here except for the fact that us and Shadow Priest, I believe, are the only classes that now have an execute. Hamstring, your basic low damage slow. That's all it is. Heroic Leap, same stuff. Basically bound through the air. Dun, da, 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 here we go. And that's it. 45-second cooldown on that bad boy though, so make sure you're ready for it. Heroic Throw, high threat. This is mainly for the tanks to end up doing a range pull. Intimidating Shout does the same thing. You hit it, no target, so it's not going to let me cast it, and it just fears them in place. Mortal Strike, we've gone over this. This is one of your main abilities. A vicious strike that deals X amount of physical damage and reduces the effectiveness of healing on the target. It does not specify at this time how much healing it's dropping. So, keep that in mind. I'm not sure. I haven't tested this thing. Well, I mean, I've taken it in the dungeon, but I have not actually looked to see if it shows the reduction on the mob. So, just keep that in mind. We might test it here in a minute. Overpower is my talent. Pummel is still your interrupt. Shockwave talent. Slam. Slams an opponent, causing X amount of physical damage. It's kind of a medium damage. It's nothing high. It's not like Mortal Strike to where it's a high damage. Colossus Smash is high damage. Taunt is still there. It's on your bars. They just added these back in to the DPS specs, to the other specs that had them originally. They had it to where it was just on your prot or whatever your tanking specs were, but they gave them back. So kudos, we can do that. We can do something to end up helping out. Victory Rush, same thing. Kill something, you get to end up hitting them again, hitting the next mob, and do some pretty intense healing. It's 30% of your maximum health, so pretty good. Medium damage on that. Whirlwind, same thing. Spin around in a circle and do damage. It looks cool as shit. I don't have any rage, so much for that. The new sounds and graphics on a lot of this stuff's really good also. You can end up hearing and seeing that in the dungeon. Let's see. Mastery, Colossal Might. Increases the damage of your Colossus Smash by 67% and causes it to increase damage you deal to the target by an additional 67%. So, basically it. 67%. That means you start off with what, 21% off of this thing. Okay, and the more mastery you get, the more damage you end up getting off of this. Seasoned Soldier, just while you're wielding a two-hander, 10% increased damage. Whatever, passive, you never see it. Now, Tactician's where your gameplay changer is going to come in. Slam, Whirlwind, and Execute have a 15% chance per target hit to reset the remaining cooldown on Colossus Smash and Mortal Strike. Boom! There it is. So that's why I was saying you're going to use Slam the Fish a bit to try and get that and bring it back up with whatever extra rage you really got. Gameplay's a little bit on the fun side, guys. It does feel a little strong, so it might be tuned down before live. But so far, so good. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and cut from this video and take you straight into the actual gameplay so we can check it out. I lied. Before we cut over, let me just take a look right here and show you this beautiful bean footage. Nothing here has been changed. If you've seen my artifact, my live stream video for this, there is an artifact section that goes over it, the appearances. Honestly, they could have done a lot more with it. This one is by far my favorite just because of the extra swirling items around it and the design. Flame Reaper looks good. We'll let it spin around here real quick. So there's that. And then the PvP ones. The PvP one's alright. I think we've seen something pretty close to that model already. And then the traits. Kind of went over your artifact ability already. Basically stomp the ground, do shadow damage, but you add a Colossus Smash effect to all the enemies around you. So that damage bonus is going on them. Alright, for 8 yards. 8 yards is the limit. Thoradin's Might increases damage of Mortal Strike by 15%. Increase damage of Slam by 5%. Whirlwind damage or generates 5 rage. Slam is a 2% increase chance to reduce Colossus Smash. That's going to be pretty awesome because it stacks up to 6%. When you apply Colossus Smash, you target your next Mortal Strike or Execute will have a 30% higher critical strike chance to deal 30% additional damage. Woot woot. Increase the critical strike chance of Execute by 5%. Defensive stance reduces damage taken by an additional 5%. Cleave increases the damage of your next Whirlwind. So basically, the gameplay changer on this is going to come through the artifact. And if you notice, it's always one of, at least here, I like the way that they set it up. You know, they've got a couple of their basic ones, but you see, Slam has a 2% chance, so it's affecting one ability to end up affecting another on almost everything. Like Cleave has a chance to increase the, you know, next Whirlwind by 2%. It's kind of a nice gameplay, so you're not smashing the same button over and over again. Touch of Zakaj. Stromkar heals you for 3% of the amount of damage Mortal Strike deals. Alright, general. Survivability. Unending Rage. Maximum Rage increased by 10. This stacks 3 times, 130. Oh, excuse me. When Cleave strikes more than 3 targets, Stromkar releases a burst of void energy, so some AoE. Very light AoE at that. Focus in battle. Colossus Smash deals 25% more damage. Alright. Increased damage of Whirlwind by 5%. Okay. Colossus Smash reduces the rage cost of your next Mortal Strike or Execute by 15%. That's going to be nice. That stacks up 3 times, so 45%. This will help a lot with that rage starving I was talking about. Let's see. Corrupted Blood of Zakaj. When you activate Battle Cry, your sword radiates shadowy energy, causing targets to suffer an additional 20% of all your damage dealt over 6 seconds. So, 6 seconds on that. You've got 5 seconds on Battle Cry. It's basically going to mimic your damage. Well, I mean, additional 20%, but then you've got the crits on top of that, 100% crit. So it's going to be a huge amount of a little burst window here for damage. Good little deal. I could maybe a little tuning. We'll see how it plays out a little later. And then tactical advances, our last one here. Passive: when your heroic leap lands, you gain 10% increased armor and parry chance for 4 seconds. So locked, open. These are going to be, basically you put something in here and it's supposed to unlock one of these or give it a bonus specialty, and then it also ends up increases. This is how you increase your weapon's item level, is through these relic slots. Without these relic slots, you're staying at a base 750 item level for this weapon. So keep that in mind. This is how you're improving. It's no longer weapons that you're fighting for, it's relics. Okay? Alright guys, now, like I said before, I'm going to end this. We're going to go straight into the gameplay, and we'll see how exactly this thing's playing out, what kind of damage it's doing, and is it enjoyable? I mean, honestly, that's what we're here for, is how enjoyable is it, how much damage is it doing. Again, not running any meters because this is alpha, so let's see how it looks. Alright, so here it is, guys. We're in the actual gameplay now. And you can see the damage out that's going out is pretty solid. This is a level 110 dungeon. This is the Maw of Souls. And we're just going to use it as a brief review on how things are playing. If you keep your eyes open here, this is the very beginning. You can see the trash. You can see that I'm doing everything possible to try and stay alive on this. I mean, we don't take a hell of a lot of damage, but we can't tank it. And you'll see this coming up at the end here. Now, this is, you can see how quickly those guys started getting burned down. That was what I was talking about in the beginning, how we were talking about using the relic ability itself to add Colossus Smash and then following through with the Blade Storm. It does a huge amount of damage. I'll do it again here and just kind of watch how quick the health bars start dropping. Single target anyways. I mean, you can see I'm laying in on this guy and it's a huge amount. Huge amount. So here we go. And you might have seen it just real briefly. If you end up scooting back a little, you can end up checking it out again. But they just died. I mean, they died. We used that ability, you know, with our main artifact ability. We ran through, we did the damage. I even think it's a good bonus for single target. Now, look at the health meters also. You've got a good chance of getting out of all this stuff. The mobility's still great on getting in and out. There's nothing I can really end up telling you guys except for the class is playing really well. It's playing almost like it is on live, except I feel that even with this short damage window, the way that they've got the mastery set and the way that the damage is playing already, it's huge. It's going to increase everyone's love of life, especially in an AoE situation. That area of effect through Blade Storm, using your artifact ability to end up putting that Colossus Smash up. Even if you wanted to add Battle Cry on it, use Battle Cry and that gives you the extra damage. And then Blade Storm, it's ungodly. Look at how much damage it's doing off of these guys. These guys do not go down this fast. The dungeons after this last build too have been changed a little bit, and they've added in, like this one here, they added in at least one rare that I've noticed. We do end up showing it out here. It's some Verkle chick, but she's cool. It's really fun. But they've also changed the pass, like There used to be a stairway coming up on the right hand side, and it ended up switching over to the left hand side. So they're definitely keeping it real. They're adjusting how they want it to end up being seen, so it's not so hard. Awesome choices. As for the difficulty on some of this, they did tone it down a little bit, not a lot. You still don't want to mess up and pull too much. Again, here's that major AoE from my actual Maw of Souls video that I showed. Most of this is pretty on par, guys. Damage is good. With the Arms Warrior itself, back to the Arms Warrior, Rend has always been our bleed. It is now a talent. I'm using it. It works good. I don't seem to be able to keep it up as much as I'd like to, but it's been a long time since I've made a warrior or even played a warrior progressively. That being said, I still know how to Blade Storm, and the damage is good. Easy playstyle. You can focus more on what you're doing. The mobility is great. We're getting there, guys, and I just want to end up showing you how much play you can actually see. Now, I know I did say in the intro that you'd be able to hear this, but I completely forgot that I wanted to speed this up so you get to see how it does on the bosses also, and get a little more play in. So when you speed up a video, it sounds like the Chipmunks, and it didn't work out. Sorry for that, guys, but we are going to end up getting to see a little bit more content this way. This is the second boss, Harboron, and just watch the other great thing, the ads that come up. You can switch to them. Your pummel still works good, as long as you know where that button's at. Some people don't. But if you know how to end up playing your warrior, you're going to definitely end up remembering how to interrupt. The damage is good, guys. I mean, you can see how quickly this guy's going, even though I have it sped up. All the ads are going down in time. Alright, there's a few of them that I'm just the only person on the ads, and they're still going down pretty quick, like that one. So it's just a matter of people watching, paying attention, and doing what they need to do. This group ended up being pretty spot on. Here you go. I'm the only person on that, or I was the only person. It looks like Shaman moved in, or whatever the hell that was. Excuse me. But they play good. You got good splits. The guy's almost dead anyways, so they were leaving it alone. But I can't complain. Like, this is the mini boss just before Helya, and he usually summons a ton of ads, but we had two warriors in here. I believe the other warrior was Fury, but we were just AoE nuking the crap out of all this stuff. Again, I don't have any artifact power except for the first ability that you unlock after doing the artifact quest. That is it. Nothing extra. Here's Helya. Helya's the last boss. Now, again, I was telling you about how they do really good. They seem to have a reduction in damage. It didn't matter none. The tank ended up forgetting to grab one of the destructing tentacles, and I ended up tanking it. Didn't do so well, guys. I think I took about 3, maybe 4 hits. Tried to say something to the tank, and the tank was off in left field. So it's all a learning experience here. I'm sure the tank was in here learning. No big deal to them. But here it is, and see, slapped to death. But I had threat over the other warriors, so I'm guessing that's what it is. Thanks again, guys, and kudos. Thank you. I appreciate everything. Enjoy.